Last summer, I harvested a little over 90 pounds of ripe tomatoes from just 4 plants in one raised bed. The year before, using the same bed, the same soil, the same sunlight, and the same tomato varieties, I barely reached 30 pounds. Nothing about the garden changed in any dramatic way. I did not buy expensive fertilizer. I did not switch to some rare heirloom seed. I did not install a fancy irrigation system. The only thing I changed was how I watered. And that one change turned a frustrating season full of cracked tomatoes, yellowing leaves, stalled growth, and blossom end rot into the most productive tomato harvest I had ever grown. But here is the surprising part. The mistake that silently ruins many tomato harvests is usually not simple underwatering. It is not always overwatering either. It is something much more specific. Most home gardeners water their tomatoes a little bit every day. It feels responsible. It feels gentle. It feels like good care. You walk out in the evening, give each plant a quick drink, see the soil turn dark on top, and think, good, they're watered. But that small daily splash may be training your tomato plants to become weaker. Instead of encouraging the roots to grow deep, it keeps moisture near the surface. So the roots stay shallow, crowded in the top few inches of soil, exactly where heat and wind dry everything out fastest. By noon the next day, that upper layer can be bone dry again. Then in the evening, you soak the surface again. Wet, dry, wet, dry. The plant is forced into a stressful cycle. That cycle is one of the hidden reasons tomatoes crack. It is also one of the reasons blossom end rot shows up, even when the soil already contains calcium. The problem is not always that calcium is missing. Very often, the plant simply cannot move nutrients consistently because the moisture level keeps swinging. In this video, I will show you the watering rhythm that changed my tomato season completely. How deep to water, how often to water, when to water, and how to know whether your plant actually needs it. And stay with me until the end, because I will also show you a simple buried bottle trick that sends water straight down to the deeper roots while you do almost nothing. It costs almost nothing, works in beds or containers, and can save a struggling tomato plant before summer heat does real damage. Let me take you back for a moment, because I did not learn this from theory. I learned it the slow way, by getting it wrong for years. For most of my gardening life, I watered tomatoes the way I had seen other people do it. My dad did it that way. Neighbors did it that way. And honestly, it made sense at the time. Every evening after dinner, I would walk outside with the hose, give each tomato plant a generous-looking splash, watch the top of the soil turn dark, and feel like I had done my job. The plants looked fine at first. The leaves were green, the stems were growing, the flowers came in strong. So I assumed the system was working. Then, almost every year, midsummer arrived and the same problems appeared. My Roma tomatoes developed ugly dark patches on the bottom. My larger slicing tomatoes split open just as they started to ripen. Lower leaves began turning yellow and creeping upward. Plants that looked full of energy in June suddenly slowed down in August. They still had flowers, but they no longer had that strong, steady momentum. At first, I blamed everything except my watering. I blamed the weather. I blamed the variety. I blamed the soil. I bought calcium products. I tried sprays. I adjusted fertilizer. Some things helped a little, but nothing truly solved the pattern. The real breakthrough came when I finally understood how tomato roots are supposed to grow. A mature tomato plant is not meant to live on tiny drinks from the soil surface. When grown well, its roots can reach 2 to 3 feet deep into the ground. That means a healthy tomato plant is designed to search for moisture below the hot, dry surface layer. But when you water lightly every day, the plant has no reason to send its roots down. The water keeps appearing near the top, so the roots stay near the top. And shallow roots create fragile plants. They dry out quickly. They struggle during heat waves. They cannot regulate water intake smoothly, and when moisture rises and falls too sharply, the plant has a harder time moving calcium and other nutrients into the developing fruit. That is why blossom end rot is often not a simple lack of calcium in the soil problem. It is usually a delivery problem. The calcium may be there, but inconsistent moisture prevents the plant from transporting it properly. Cracking works in a similar way. The fruit slows down during a dry spell. Then the plant suddenly receives a big drink. The fruit expands too quickly, and the skin cannot stretch fast enough, so it splits. Once I saw the pattern, the solution became obvious. Tomatoes do not need constant little sips. They need deep, steady watering that teaches the roots to go where strength really comes from, downward. Before you change how much water you give your tomatoes, the first thing to change is how you decide whether they need water at all. Most gardeners look at the surface of the soil. If the top looks dry, they water. If the top looks dark, they assume everything is fine. But the surface is the worst place to judge from. The top inch of soil can dry out fast under sun and wind, even when the soil a few inches below is still perfectly moist. So instead of guessing, use a simple test. Push your index finger into the soil about 2 inches away from the main stem. Go down as far as you comfortably can, ideally to the second knuckle, around 3 to 4 inches deep. That depth tells you much more than the surface ever will. If the soil feels cool and slightly damp, like a sponge that has been wrung out, you do not need to water yet. If it feels dry, loose, and crumbly all the way down, it is time to water. And if it feels muddy, heavy, or so wet that you could squeeze water from it, you have gone too far. Give the plant a day or two to breathe. This one habit changes everything, because it moves you from watering by emotion to watering by condition. A calendar can remind you to check your plants, but it should not command you to soak them. Tomatoes do not care whether it is Tuesday or Friday. They respond to moisture, heat, wind, fruit load, and root depth. Once your soil test says the plant is ready, the next rule is simple. Water more deeply, but less often. For a mature tomato plant in midsummer, a good starting point is about 1 to 2 gallons per plant, delivered slowly at the base, every 3 to 5 days depending on weather and soil. That is very different from a quick splash every evening. The goal is not to make the top of the soil look wet. The goal is to move water down into the root zone, ideally 12 to 18 inches deep. When moisture reaches that level, the deeper roots get a real drink. Then, as the upper soil dries, the roots keep following moisture downward. That is how you build a stronger plant. The easiest way is to remove the spray nozzle from your hose, set the water to a slow trickle, and place it right at the base of the plant. Let it run for a few minutes, then move to the next plant. A drip line or soaker hose works even better, as long as the water goes into the soil instead of onto the leaves. Because with tomatoes, the rule is clear. Water the dirt, not the plant. Now, once you know how to water deeply, the next question is timing. For tomatoes, the best time to water is usually early morning, ideally between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. At that point, the soil is still relatively cool. The plant is preparing for the heat of the day, and the water has time to soak down before the sun becomes intense. Morning watering also reduces disease pressure. If a little water splashes onto the lower leaves, the sun and moving air can dry them quickly. That matters because wet tomato leaves are an open invitation for fungal problems, especially diseases like early blight and septoria leaf spot. Those problems can move fast in warm, humid weather, and once they get established, they are much harder to manage. Evening watering feels convenient, and sometimes it is better than not watering at all. But if the leaves stay damp overnight, the plant spends hours in the exact conditions many fungal diseases love. So whenever you can, give tomatoes their deep drink in the morning. And before we go further, let me pause for a moment. if this kind of practical, no-nonsense gardening advice is useful to you. Now, let's keep going, because the next step is what helps lock in all the moisture you just worked so hard to deliver. Once you are watering deeply, the next move is to protect that moisture. And for tomatoes, one of the most powerful ways to do that is mulch. Do not think of mulch as decoration. Think of it as a protective blanket over the root zone. When your tomato plants are about a foot tall and the soil has warmed up, spread 2 to 3 inches of organic mulch around them. Straw, shredded dry leaves, or dried grass clippings all work well. Just keep the mulch about 2 inches away from the main stem, so you protect the soil without trapping moisture against the plant and causing rot. Mulch does several jobs at once. It slows evaporation, keeps the root zone cooler during hot afternoons, suppresses weeds, and gradually feeds soil life as it breaks down. In hot regions, this can mean the difference between watering a couple of times a week and constantly dragging the hose around. In cooler regions, wait until the soil has warmed before mulching heavily, because cold soil trapped under mulch can slow growth. Your watering rhythm should also change as the plant grows. During the first 3 to 4 weeks after transplanting, the roots are still small, so water a little more often, but still deeply. Around half a gallon per plant every 2 to 3 days is a good starting point, depending on weather and soil. As the plant gets taller, flowers, and sets fruit, stretch the time between waterings. By peak summer, a mature tomato plant may need 1 to 2 gallons per watering, usually every 3 to 5 days. If temperatures stay above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, you may need to water every 2 days, but do not return to tiny daily sips. And after a heavy rain, skip the next watering and check the soil first. As fruit ripens, you can slightly reduce water to concentrate flavor, especially with paste tomatoes. But do it gently. The goal is steady and slightly drier, not drought followed by sudden flooding. Now, beyond watering and mulch, you need to learn how to read the plant. A healthy tomato usually looks strongest in the morning, with firm, lifted, deep green leaves. A little afternoon droop during extreme heat is normal if the plant recovers by evening. But if the leaves are limp early in the morning, that usually means the plant ran out of available water overnight and needs a deep soak. Overwatering looks different. If lower leaves turn yellow while the soil stays wet for days, the roots may be struggling for oxygen. In that case, stop watering for 2 or 3 days and let the soil breathe. Leaf curl can come from heat, uneven moisture, pruning stress, or even the variety itself, so always check the soil before assuming the worst. There are 4 watering habits that cause trouble in many tomato gardens. The first is the daily evening sprinkle. It feels caring, but it keeps roots shallow and creates the wet-dry cycle that weakens the plant. Replace it with deep watering 2 or 3 times a week. The second is overhead watering. Sprinklers and spray wands soak the leaves and fruit, which encourages fungal disease. Keep water at soil level whenever possible. The third is watering by a fixed calendar. Tomatoes do not care if it is Tuesday or Friday. Use the calendar as a reminder to check the soil, not as an automatic command. The fourth is panic watering after a dry spell. When a stressed plant suddenly takes in too much water, fruit can swell too fast and crack. If you fall behind, water deeply but calmly, then return to a steady rhythm. None of these mistakes mean you are a bad gardener. They simply mean no one showed you how tomatoes actually drink. Now let me give you the simple trick I promised at the beginning, the buried bottle method. Take an empty 1-gallon plastic jug, like a milk jug or vinegar jug. Poke or drill 6 to 8 small holes around the bottom third of the container. Make the holes small, about the size of a pencil tip, so the water leaks slowly instead of rushing out. Bury the jug beside your tomato plant, about 6 to 8 inches from the main stem, with the neck sticking about an inch above the soil. Leave the cap off or loose. When it is time to water, Simply fill the jug. The water seeps out slowly over several hours, directly into the deeper root zone. No wet leaves, no runoff, no wasted water. And because the moisture is delivered below the surface, the roots are encouraged to grow downward. For large, indeterminate tomatoes, use 2 jugs per plant. For smaller determinate or patio tomatoes, 1 jug is usually enough. So if you remember only one thing, remember this: water tomatoes like the deep-rooted plants they are. Soak them deeply, mulch the soil, check before watering, and keep the rhythm steady. That 90-pound harvest wasn't luck. It came from giving the plants the right water, at the right depth, at the right time. I would love to hear what happens when you try it in your own garden.